Hi everybody, it's Meg from Books Off the Beaten Path, and I want to talk to you about a book today that really stuck with me and surprisingly got me to think about mental health. So that's what we're going to talk about today, and there will be a lot of spoilers, but I don't know if you'll ever find this book or let alone ever read it. I would recommend it, but there will be spoilers, so if you want to order it from ABE Books, or if you find it in the secondhand used store or something like that, don't be mad at me once I tell you what it's about. Okay, so this is called Date with a Career, and it is by Jan Nickerson. And it is a 1958 book, and we follow our main character, Lee, whose mother, now first off, here's what's interesting. Her mother is an actress, and she's a single mom because dad has passed away. Oh, we've got a Bob alert. Get ready. Bob is coming up on the table. So let's get that over with. Bob. Thank you. Bob just has to be in every video now. Just has to be in every video. So anyway, Lee's mother is a single mom, and her father has died. And so Lee's mother gets a job as an actress in Australia, of all places, in 1958. And so Lee has to go and live in Fairmeadows with her grandmother, which is her mother's mother-in-law. And so she has to go live with the grandmother-in-law, who has been very bitter about the fact that the father, who has since perished, was going to be a concert pianist, and he died and was unable to fulfill that goal. So she decides, grandmother-in-law decides that Lee is going to be a concert pianist. But Lee doesn't want to be. She wants to be a dress designer, which I don't know if you can see. The dust jacket is so old it is crumbling, but here's a couple of her designs right here. The book doesn't have any illustrations, or I would be happy to show you. But anyway, it goes through the whole year. And she goes steady with a guy, and there is an implied pregnancy in here. Let me just tell you about the implied pregnancy in here. There is a girl who is Lee's nemesis, and the girl's name is Beverly. And so Beverly gets involved with the wrong crowd, and we don't even say it's the wrong crowd. Jan Nickerson did an amazing job of showing us that it was the wrong crowd by the way they dressed and by the way they were disrespectful. So Beverly gets involved with the wrong crowd. And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, Beverly announces that she is married, that she's gotten married. And they're all shocked about this, and she's having to drop out of school and everything like that. And then Beverly is involved in a car accident, a very bad car accident. And so her mother takes her to recover in Maine for the summer. Now, what do you think? I think that was a pregnancy. I think that Jan was telling us that the bad girl got pregnant without, she was showing us all of that, and it was led to we had to get all the implications and read between the lines to realize that she was actually pregnant and was going to Maine to recover from the car crash for the summer. So we have sort of the subterfuge pregnancy going on here. But why did it make me think of mental health? Let me tell you why. So Lee, when she comes to Fairmeadows, she's very unsure of herself because she lived in New York City for such a long time, and this is a small town, and she's not sure that she's going to like it and everything like that. And it got me to thinking, oh, so Lee wants to go to art school. Sorry, I lost my train of thought again. So Lee wants to go to art school. She wants to go to design school. And so at one point, she has to go back into the city, and she has her interview for design school. And she takes her portfolio with her, and she takes her designs with her and everything like that. And so then there's a lot of waiting. We're waiting for the letter. We're waiting to hear and everything like that. And surprise, surprise, guess what? She doesn't get into design school. She doesn't get in there. and she's devastated. And what she really wants to do is crawl in a hole and die. But her boyfriend and the other friends are very, go Lee, go. We're going to do this fashion show for the high school. And Lee's like, I'm never doing another dress design. I'm obviously a loser. I never want to do another dress design. They're like, no, you have to be in charge of it because it was your great idea. So she does the dress design thing. She doesn't get into design school. She ends up becoming an intern at a design house, which apparently the book implies is not as highly prestige as actually going to design school. She's just basically going to be running around like any intern would. And then maybe she can try to get back into design school next year. But what would you do, you and me, what would you do if you had genuine support from everyone? Like if everyone in your life just supported you and your decisions no matter what. Now the grandmother doesn't. The grandmother eventually comes around. The grandmother eventually says, okay, fine, you're not good enough to be a concert pianist. You don't have to be that. But the mother, who's not in it hardly at all, we only see her at the very end, is very positive with Lee in the letters that she writes her. And the friends are very supportive of her and everything. And there's no backbiting, and there's no, other than Beverly, you know, the bad girl, because she's rude and she's mean to Lee and everything like that. But if it's not even about money, because there's nobody's really wealthy in the book. There's no money solving problems or anything like that. Like, I mean, there's no, we have a problem and money is going to solve it. There's nothing like that. It is just simply encouragement and support and strength for this young woman. And what would our lives be like if we were able to surround ourselves with people who wanted nothing more than for us to be happy and successful? And I just got to thinking about this. The book was not sugary sweet. It wasn't saccharine-like. Sure, it was a little bit dated with the whole pretend we don't have a pregnancy thing and all that kind of stuff. But overall, it could be read today. I mean, you could print this today with a few updates about they'd have to have cell phones and everything like that. But I think it would be very successful today. But just think about that. Just think about what you would do if everyone was supportive. What would you do if your first day at school in this small town that you didn't know and everything, and you were unsure of yourself? What would you do if someone was actually nice? If someone said, hi, you look like you're lost, or do you need help finding a room? What would you do if someone says, okay, you didn't get into design school, you've had your cry, now it's time to get up and finish this fashion show with everybody else. You'll get into design school at another time. What would you do if someone said, you know, I really like your dress. I think it's very pretty, but I think that you could do better. But I still think the dress is very pretty. How can I help? Do you want me to come over? Do you want me to help, you know, sew a hem or something like that? What can I do to help you get through this stumbling block that you have with designing this dress? It's just, I just thought it was such an exercise in, oh, Bob. Oh, sorry. I need good mental health dealing with Bob. I thought it was such a great exercise on what a young person's life would be like with unconditional love and support from their friends, from their family. No, we're not going to do this again. What would that be like if you had unconditional support? I don't know. It just got me to thinking about that. I mean, growing up, I didn't have unconditional support. I don't know if anybody else out there does. I still look for it. I have it in a few people now, you know, because I've gotten wiser about choosing my friends and everything. But that's what Lee had in this. And she didn't have a fairy tale ending. She didn't have a fairy tale relationship with the boyfriend, with the steady boyfriend, because they got mad at a couple of times and everything like that. And then he wouldn't call, but she wouldn't call. And then eventually they just sort of got over it. Like, there wasn't a big to-do. They both got mad and went to their separate corners, and then the next thing they know, they saw each other and they were going out to have a Coke. And they were just like, let's just not talk about it. We just don't agree on that thing, and we'll just let it alone. What would life be like? I don't know. I think it would be a Fair Meadows life. That was the name of the small town, and I would live in Fair Meadows in an instant. And I hope you would too. All right, well, that was my review of Date with a Career. I kind of slurred for a second. Jan Nickerson, 1958. It's a wonderful read if you can get it, if you want to get it. But it really moved me. I'm like, everybody was very supportive, but they weren't over the top supportive. They weren't like, we think you're the most fantastic person in the entire world. They weren't like that. They were just here for her and supportive from pretty much page one, other than the grandmother, but she comes around. She comes around. All right. That's enough of a book review for this Saturday afternoon. I'm going to go and read some more, and I'll check you later.